Okay, hi there, fellow observers. It's probably Wednesday morning for you, and we did take a quiz Monday evening, so we'll get back to that. So anyway, I wanted to take some time and really develop this a little bit with you. I had asked a question on a recent assignment. Of course, we were talking about eclipses. We were talking about the moon and the earth, the sun, eclipses. We talked about annular eclipses. We talked about total solar eclipses. We talked about lunar eclipses. So we talked about lots of different eclipses, and I wanted to just do a little review and also make sure that we're on the same page with this. One of the questions I asked recently was, for October 14th, will Hurd be in Northwest Pennsylvania? And the correct answer was no. And then the other question was, where will he be? Well, the correct answer is in the Southwest United States. Why? To purposely put myself in the path of totality. But I don't want to leave you stranded here at Edinboro. So that's one of the things I want to develop right now, is more details into that eclipse and more details into the April 8th, 2024 eclipse. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm sharing my screen here, and actually this is a nice map here. It shows the path of totality of the annular eclipse for Saturday, October 14th, 2023. So people in Pennsylvania and Erie, of course, are getting all geared up for April 8th and are all crazy about it. And that's great. I'm all for that. But I keep telling them, hey, the first party is October 14th. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, you know what I'm talking about. We can observe an annular eclipse. And I want to show you what you will observe in Northwest Pennsylvania and a little bit about what I will observe, because here's the path of totality here, right here marked. You can see it comes in here at Oregon, through Nevada, right through the Four Corners region, right through New Mexico, right into Texas, out through here, and down into Colombia there. And actually, if we scroll out, actually clear out here through Brazil, I guess. So anyway, that's the path of totality. Now, where am I going? I'm glad you asked. I am going to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Why am I going to Albuquerque, New Mexico? You know, to put myself in that's right, the path of totality. So you can see here that Albuquerque right here is on the center line. Okay, here's the Four Corners region. Here's Richfield, Utah, wherever that is. Here's Albuquerque, New Mexico. Here's Santa Fe out on the limb, out on the edge. I'll actually be doing a program at the Children's Museum, Santa Fe Children's Museum, on Thursday, I believe, and then, but I'll be at Albuquerque on Saturday, October 14th. And just for what it's worth, department, I'm really looking forward to this because it happens to coincide with the International Balloon Fiesta, which is held every year in Albuquerque, a huge event for hot air balloon enthusiasts from around the world. And it's the largest such gathering in the world. And so that happens to be occurring too. So that's something I've wanted to see since I've been a child, is the International Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque. Never got a chance to. I thought I might go to undergraduate. Second choice was really considering University of New Mexico in Albuquerque, but that didn't come to fruition. So, but in either case, that's something I've always wanted to do. What a perfect opportunity. Mass ascension Saturday morning, October 14th of the hot air balloons, and of course a annular eclipse that occurs on that day. Now let me just review real quick. An annular eclipse is where the moon is further from the earth and therefore it fails to block the entire disk of the sun. If you were to like take your index finger or your pinky or something and hold it at arm's length, or not quite at arm's length, and then close one eye and just kind of move your finger until it just covers up an object. Maybe it's in your room or your house or wherever. Like here, I'm just covering up a light switch on the wall there. But then I can pretend that my head is the earth, my fingertip is the moon, and that distant object is the sun. So I can move my fingertip until it just covers that object. In my case, it's the light switch. But if I take my finger and I just move it slightly away from me, further away from me, I see that my finger no longer covers the entire light switch. Annular eclipse. When the moon is slightly further from the earth and therefore fails to cover the entire disk of the sun, that is what's called an annular eclipse. So I'm coming down here to Albuquerque. Why? To purposely put myself in the path of totality of a total solar eclipse. So I'm just going to click here. I'm not quite sure where exactly I'll be, so I'm just going to click here. A colleague of mine, well, actually two colleagues of mine, one with College of Charleston, the other with NASA Ames, is going to be at Petroglyph National Monument. I'm actually going to be at the Balloon Park, and I'm not quite sure where that is exactly. We have to leave at 3:30 a.m. to beat the traffic to get in there before the mass ascension and be there for the eclipse. So let's just click here anywhere good enough. Now, when I click there on this map, you'll notice that we see a couple important things I want to point out to you, okay? And then I'll kind of describe this. The first thing I'd like to point out to you is this little term here. It says obscuration. Obscuration. So the obscuration means how much is the disk of the sun covered. And there in Albuquerque, about 89.6, so we'll round that to 90. So about 90% of the disk of the sun will be covered by the disk of the moon on October 14th. All right, 90% obscuration, which is really pretty high, which is really pretty cool. So we're real excited about that. Now, here's some key details. So you can see that the start, the start of the eclipse is on October 14th, all right, at 15:13. That's universal time. We are in Eastern daylight time, which is 4 hours earlier than universal time. But they're in mountain time zones. So that would be central time zone, mountain time zone. So it's 6 hours earlier. Okay, we're 4 here in Northwest Pennsylvania. I'll come back to that a little bit. They happen to be central, mountain would be 6 hours earlier there. So 15 minus 6 there, and you get 9. So the partial eclipse starts at 9:13 a.m. in Albuquerque. Then the start of annular, right here, start of annular is at 16:34. So 16 minus 6 is 10. So at 10:34 a.m. is when totality starts. That is when you can see the entire ring of the sun around the disk of, I said that correct. You can see the entire ring of the sun around the disk of the moon. That's totality that starts there at 10:34 a.m. Then totality ends at 16:39. So 16 minus 6 is 10:39. So at 10:39 a.m., totality is over. I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. And then finally, but the moon's disk is still on the disk of the sun up until 1809, 100 hours universal time. 18 minus 6 is 12. So we get 12:09 p.m. So at 12:09 p.m., the eclipse will be over, essentially completely over at that time. Now you'll notice if you do the math from 1634 to 1639, you can see it right up here. The basically totality will last 4 minutes and 50 seconds. 4 minutes and 50 seconds of totality. 4 minutes and 50 seconds of being able to see the ring entirely, ring of the sun entirely around the disk of the moon, right? So that's what that's driving at there, and that's what that means. I'm going to try to bring up a picture of a annular eclipse and bring this up here. So yeah, here's some good ones. I'm not sure I'm sharing this or not yet right now. So let me stop share, and then let me go back to share here just to make sure. Yeah, maybe you were seeing that. I don't know. So there's a picture of an annular eclipse. You can see the disk of the moon here, and you can see a ring of the sun or an annular of the sun around it. Hence, the moon is a little further away from the Earth, fails to block the entire disk of the sun. And you can see some other really, really sweet pictures here of annular eclipses here, and you can look for some yourself. But anyway, so let's go back to this here, and let me just make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Yes, that must have been. So we'll share here. Okay. So those are the details for Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I will find myself on October 14th, 2023. Why? Because I don't want to be a loser. I want to be in the path of totality. But we all can't travel to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I realize that, okay? I've already told you in a past lecture, I've only seen 2 total solar eclipses in my life. You'll probably see more than that in your lifetime, who knows? But in either case, let's scroll out here for a minute. So here's the United States, and as we scroll out and scroll across to Northwest Pennsylvania, so here's the path of totality in the Southwest US, where I'll be. And let's zoom in here to Edinboro, Pennsylvania. Okay, so there's Edinboro. So we'll get down here pretty close to it. And I'll just randomly click in Edinboro here. And let's look at the details here. If you choose to stay on October 14th, 2023 here in Edinboro, notice that the obscuration is 30%, or 30.5, round to 31, who's counting. So about 30% of the disk of the sun will be blocked by the disk of the moon. So if you haven't already, feel free to stop by my office, and I'd be happy to give you some shades with which you can safely view that eclipse, because it's never safe to look directly at the sun. It'll fry your eyeballs out and kill you dead. But I've got some really cool shades to share with you. Not only do they look really cool, but they also protect your eyes from that harmful sun. So you could stop by and pick up a eclipse viewing shades if you'd like from me. I'd be happy to give you a set of them. And you can watch this eclipse that's going to occur, that you'll be able to see partial eclipse here in Northwest Pennsylvania on October 14th. The obscuration, again, is about 30%. That's a pretty big hunk of 50%, would be half of the disk of the sun gets swallowed up by the disk of the moon. Here we got about 30%. So that's pretty cool. Now notice there's not all those different numbers here for this one. But in fact, yeah, as I click on there, I noticed I can't really point twice with but when I scroll to maximum eclipse here, a picture pops up in here, kind of what it looked like. So there, I'm on it, and you can look up at that picture at maximum and see what it looked like in a small version of approximately 30% of the disk of the sun being covered up. I guess I didn't even notice that with Albuquerque. Let me go back there. That's just too cool. So I'm just exploring this here with you and discovering this. So I'm going to go back to Albuquerque and click on that, and then click down here at maximum. And yeah, so if you look at this picture right here, when I put it on maximum, you can see the disk of the moon blocking out 90% of the sun. So that's pretty cool. Neat little feature there I was unaware of until right now. Anywho, okay, so moving back over here to Edinboro, let me give you the details here in Edinboro, Pennsylvania. So we're going to click on that. 30% obscuration. Start of partial occurs on October 14th at 15:53 Universal Time. Again, recall that we are 4 hours earlier. 15 minus 4 is 11. So the partial starts at 11:53. And yeah, 15 minus 4 is 11:53 a.m. It starts, it reaches 30% obscuration or maximum coverage at 17:10. 17 minus 4 is 13. So that translates to 1:10 p.m. 1:10 p.m. It'll be maximum obscuration. And then the eclipse will be over at 18:29. 18 minus 4 is 14. 14:29 is 2:30, okay, or 2:29 p.m. to be exact, is when the eclipse will be over here in Northwest Pennsylvania. So again, what a great opportunity for you to grab your eclipse shades, grab a friend or family member or family. You don't need, everybody doesn't need a pair of eclipse shades. You're not going to sit there and watch it for that entire, how long was that? You know, penumbral duration, 2 hours 35. You're not going to sit there and watch it the whole time. You look at it, and say, oh, that's cool, and pass these around. So one of these pairs of glasses for 6 people is more than adequate. So anyway, stop by my office if you're interested. You might want to touch base with me via email or something, or call 732-2493 and let me know when you could come by and if I'm going to be here and whatnot, and I can make that arrangement. So that's really the details of October 14th. That's why we're so pumped about October 14th. And that's why I'm trying to get the people of Erie to say, hey, this is the warm-up band. Okay, this is the warm-up for April 8th. Let's leave April 8th on the back burner for now. Let's focus on October 14th, because we got an exciting event coming up that you can observe in your backyard. So I'll have another clip here coming out shortly. Thanks for watching, and keep looking up, will you? All right.